Hi, this is the Rambling Oracle, and I've already got my first question. This is a brilliant question because this is a question that's very dear to my heart, and if that sounds a little sentimental, I think this is one of the most important questions actually in business and in our culture generally in Australia, and I think globally. So I'm going to read this question out. It's from Hugo Britt, who is in publishing. He has a PhD in English. And I'm going to read this word for word. It's such a good question. Rambling Oracle, here's my first question. I know you have experience in both the artistic and corporate worlds. Drawing on that mix, what would you say needs to be done to encourage businesses to address the ever-increasing struggle for arts funding? How do we create a culture in Australia where major corporations are aggressively competing to become principal sponsors of arts organisations? That is such a big question. As I said in my previous post, I'll ramble on and try to answer as best I can. The first thing I would say is this is a social community question. And it is a very, very big question for business. I'm going to divert for a second. I read a Harvard Business Review article today talking about climate change becoming a very serious question on businesses' radar, and we're talking about Unilever, Paul Polman, Richard Branson. They recognise the importance of sophisticated science. Now, the way I draw that into what the arts is, I think science and art are really the two great endeavours in really human history. If you look at anything that businesses achieve, especially the big corporations, the Apples, the Googles, General Electric, all those huge corporations only got to where they are through innovation. Innovation is the ability, as Beth Comstock, who's one of my favourite marketing specialists, the Chief Marketing Officer for GE, I think she really describes this problem well. She says that marketing today is a crucial function in business, but marketing means finding your market, finding your customers, finding their big questions, their problems, and designing solutions end-to-end which really address the big problems that businesses have, small to medium businesses. We're not talking about major corporations, but if we want to address problems in efficiency, in energy use, in transportation, we need creative thinking. And that gets me to the point, what do the arts stand for? To me, the creative intellects. The arts are that incredible intersection between analytical reasoning that you get in the sciences and that emotional connection that businesses today say is so important. Emotional intelligence, the ability to provide effective leadership, to risk trying new things, new methods outside traditional corporate hierarchies. That requires very creative thinking, problem solving, collaboration. So I think the answer to Hugo's question, I'd love to hear his response and your responses too, is that creativity is a discipline in itself. There is no more important quality that we need in tomorrow's and today's leaders if we want to find tomorrow's solutions through the benefits that corporations have in terms of access to resources, to talent, to networks. If we want to connect those dots, as Beth Comstock says, and find sustainable markets and really solve the big problems in a global society, we need to access and fund creative organisations, and that means partnering with those organisations. So this is really, I think, the best marketers out there and the best corporate thinkers are really focusing on partnerships. So my opinion is that government, civil society and big business need to collaborate, and this is where access to funding, to seed funding through venture capital maybe, but also through crowdfunding and grants, corporations can develop those ecosystems, the word marketing specialists use, to access creative talent. So that whether that's in technology, design, in community building, you look at the arts scene. You have theatre production, you have performance art, you have music. All these things, all these groups generate that collective creative intellect, which is also social capital for big companies to deploy their resources to address creative challenges. One example I saw the other day on Facebook, for example, using social media, was Ride by Night, or Ride the Night, sorry, it was called, which is a Melbourne bicycle event with several corporate sponsors, well-known sponsors, providing funding for people to ride literally at night with fluorescent bikes, to donate money to charities that reduce homelessness and youth addiction. So that's a great example of creative thinking. It draws on design experience, charitable groups, and corporate money to address a serious social problem in a creative way. I think I really can't add too much more to that, except I know personally, in my experience, I love playing music. It frees me to think more expansively than I would if I was stuck in a cubicle. But that ability to form networks with people who are different to you, who are from different cultures, that's the other great experience in the arts community, is that you interact with people who are not the same as you, who are from different backgrounds, and you do so peacefully and collaboratively. And that premium on teamwork is so important in business today, to generate the growth we need to provide employment to a young, in the rest of the world, a younger workforce. Australia is an ageing workforce, so we have economic problems there as well. But it really is, in conclusion, I think, vital for corporations to provide funding to dynamically and creatively to these arts groups and also the sciences, to develop the networks and the research capacity for solving the big problems. So I've definitely ended up rambling here a bit. It's such a big question. I think it's probably, for me, the biggest question actually in business today, and especially in big hierarchies and corporate boardrooms, to try and bring that diversity into the boardroom and throughout an organisation, what Jack Welch calls boundaryless thinking. So taking the best ideas from wherever they come and focusing on collaborative models and marketing networks to drive real change in the world, and to address the big problems that are social problems, not just business problems. So access to sustainable resources, to quality healthcare, all those things. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic because it is such a huge one. So thank you, Hugo, for your question. And I could ramble on about this for hours, but I would love to hear other people's takes on this question. So hope to hear from you soon. Consult the Oracle whenever you wish. Thank you for your time. Bye.